The wilderness is going wild.
Yo.
I'll share some opinions every now and then. I might come out.
All right, let me just.
Yeah, just get behind me and just speak.
You want the ball? You want to play again? He was downloaded.
I only have one controller.
I can't do it. I got my other controller in my bag in my car.
Okay, good.
What
Then
you think this is?
I'm sorry.
How?
I carry my equipment everywhere. I got my
Close that up.
Lock them doors.
Close that up. Okay.
Careful going out there. Don't get hit by open.
I know, but she will hit you. Oh, yeah, you think it's a joke?
All right. You guys ready? Let's do this, huh?
Alrighty, let's go.
3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome. Thank you for tuning in to this, the Changing the Questions live NXT Takeover, the end of the beginning of the end of the beginning post-game show. My name is Paul Laporte. Joining me for this broadcast are my co-host on my videos left, Mr. Anton Clay, Sean the Gamer.
What up? How's everybody doing tonight?
Join us once again. And on my right, my videos, nah, never mind. Earl Marks, the still frame, the still picture of Earl Marks joining us.
Yes, the picture is still. Yes, but I am here and I am not still.
No one can sit still after that show. Before we get started on the breakdown of the card, what'd you guys think of the show overall?
The overall show was really, really good. Very well paced. Very well thought out. And I just enjoyed it from top to bottom.
Earl, what'd you think?
I'm gonna go on the contrary. I thought it could have been stronger. There were some pieces I felt were missing. The stuff that was really good really worked for me, but what didn't work was just kind of. I'm gonna go on the contrary. I'm not sure what to make out of it. Stronger. There were some pieces.
Yeah,
I mean,
were missing. For me, I think that. I don't know. This was a Full Sail takeover. This wasn't like the giant productions like London was and Dallas was. So I think maybe expecting it to have been as good or better than those.
I didn't, because once they said it was at Full Sail, I was like, yeah, I know what I'm getting.
Right. I mean, it's a Full Sail takeover, and I think we might have been maybe spoiled for the past few. Because they were such huge events and they kind of happened right back to back. But this one, like I said, for what it was, they can't all be incredible match of the year or, card of the year candidates. This one was good for what it was. I enjoyed it. There was definitely some kind of surprising outcomes in this, which we'll get onto a little bit later. But overall, no, it was not the blow away, oh my god show that NXT Dallas was. But I still think it was a good show. Like, like Earl says, that it didn't really live up to expectations, but for any other, like, if this was just a regular WWE pay-per-view, this is a better show. Like, it's just the expectation for NXT has been set so high that I think maybe it will fall short for some people.
Yeah, I think there's a definite just potential that felt like we could have went there, but I don't know if we kind of held back for whatever reason, but we maybe just a different direction next time, but who knows? There still were some very, very, very good matches.
Absolutely. So we started off the night by having Andre Sienna Almas taking on the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. Andrade Almas making his debut in NXT. Now, had either of you guys seen Andrade Almas before when he was La Sombra in Mexico, or was this like your fresh viewing for you guys?
I've seen a couple of matches here and there, a couple of highlights on YouTube, so I was kind of familiar with his style, but as a full match, this was my first one, and I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I have not seen him before, so I was coming in green as goo, and I liked what I saw. I did, very much so.
Yeah, Andrade Almas, La Sombra, he is one of those guys who's just so dynamic, and as someone who I haven't seen a giant amount, just because CMLL is a little bit tougher to view than AAA for whatever reason. But some of the things he can do, like, they haven't scratched the surface of what that guy is capable of. I'm a little worried that WWE may hold him back on some of the things he can do. Like, if you look up highlights of his match, there was a 2 out of 3 falls match he had against another guy, Volador Jr., who was recently in the Best of the Super Juniors tournament in New Japan. Some of the stuff they did was just batshit, mind-blowing, incredible, and some of the stuff he's capable of is really fantastic. The match against Ty Dillinger, I mean, it was a good match. It was certainly a good showing. I think ACA, as they're calling him, is going to be a great contribution to the roster. It's just his debut. It's the traditional show up and have a sort of competitive match with the upper level enhancement guy thing that they always do. You know, they did it with Kevin Owens, they did it with Apollo Crews. Like, it's fun, but I almost would have rather seen him show up the way Nakamura did and have him kind of have a real big blowout match with the guy who was a little higher up the card that it would have been a little bit more competitive with. Though not to say that Ty Dillinger didn't get his stuff in, because he did. Ty Dillinger looked good here even in his loss, and I really hope he is somebody that they focus on a little bit more.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I felt like this match is like over the past couple of takeovers when Tyler Breeze was there, he would open the show, and that's what it really felt like to me. Like, Ty Dillinger may end up being the next Tyler Breeze when it comes to having a strong opening match for your show.
The first 3 letters of their first name are the same. No, they're not.
Almost.
Almost. The first 2 letters of their first name are the same.
Well, we're a far cry from the Brooklyn Brawler, so it was a very solid opening, and I think Dillinger, you know, he hung in there, but we knew the outcome. I mean, it'd be hard pressed to say that you didn't know that, you know, what was going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they delivered. They delivered, and I definitely want to see more of ACA 100 CN. I definitely want more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious to see who they're going to kind of have his first feud with, especially because that roster is in such big flux in the next couple months. Like, I don't know who's going to stick around, who are you going to have him feud with. There was rumors going back to the inception of the Cruiserweight Classic, back when it was still the Global Cruiserweight Series, that he was going to be in it, and he's going to be one of the higher profile guys in it. So maybe they're just going to kind of showcase him a little bit until they start showing that tournament and start taping for that, and then that's where he's going to kind of, like, this is just maybe kind of a sneak preview of him, and then using that as kind of a teaser for the Global Cruiserweight Series, or the Cruiserweight Classic, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited about that. I mean, like I said, the Best of the Super Juniors just wrapped up in Japan. We have the Global Cruiserweight Series, Cruiserweight Classic, I keep calling it the wrong name, starting soon. It is a great time to be a professional wrestling fan, especially a fan of light heavyweight wrestling. Absolutely. So next match, the Revival taking on American Alpha. This has to be far and away the upset of the evening.
Oh yeah, very shocked at the outcome of this one.
Yeah.
I thought the Revival looked hungry. I thought they looked hungry, and I said I'm going to try not to be surprised if they win. But then again, when they did it, I said, well, what do you know? I guess I thought the Faces were going to pull it off, but they came back, but they looked hungry. I liked it. It was my match of the night, actually.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. That match was fantastic. Those 4 just work so well together. For as much hype as American Alpha gets, the Revival deserve almost as much, if not more, just because they're so solid. They're so, I mean, they're really, those guys are bringing back what's almost been kind of a dead art form for the past 10 years in some ways. And the thing that I'm looking forward to the most out of this is the fact that this will probably mean a third match.
Oh yeah,
because they've gone 1-1, and I got my tickets for NXT Takeover Brooklyn today. So I am hoping that it will be there. So
I think it will. I think they should do a 2 out of 3 falls. There needs to be some sort of nice stipulation to it.
Yes, that's a great idea. That's an excellent idea. I agree stipulation, but I think 2 out of 3 falls would be the best one. And they haven't done a 2 out of 3 falls Well, they no the what was it? Joe and Sammy was the last one, but they've never done a tag team one in NXT.
No, tag team would really be different, something different for the. And I think the Brooklyn crowd will respond crazy to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That place is gonna go nuts for it. That's gonna be the perfect place. And I think too, with American Alpha getting their heat, but I think the Revival are getting a lot of fans out of this feud too, because that ending, the setup for the ending was perfect, where they countered the Grand Amplitude into the Shatter Machine. There was a couple spots that looked a little weird, like the spot where Chad Gable reversed the Doomsday device into the German suplex, but almost landed on the like on his face. That one looked a little rough, but there wasn't any really blatant screw ups like the Dallas show. But the thing is that those guys are going so fast and so hard that something's gonna miss at that point, because there's so many things that work so well and go so fluidly that something's gonna miss, and when it does, it's gonna really stand out.
Yeah.
The thing is, I like the pace. Even though it was a faster pace, they were still able to really set the tone for a nice, okay build to a very hot finish to me. I mean, I was in all the way on this match.
Oh yeah, I didn't take my eyes off the screen watching this match because you didn't want to miss anything, especially those suplexes by Jason Jordan, because those are a thing of beauty.
Yeah, everybody touts up Brock Lesnar and his suplexes. Jason Jordan throws the best suplex in probably professional wrestling, but certainly WWE right now.
Yes.
It's just, he is, the guys like float in midair after he throws them. He can do so many different things.
And he just has that look on his face. He's like, yeah, I'm really going to toss you across the ring.
Yeah, that is a scary, scary guy. And it's funny because they did a lot of different, everybody, they basically kind of name-checked in their actions all of the tag teams and people that the wrestling fans compare them to. You had the dual ankle lock spot referencing the world's greatest tag team in Kurt Angle. They did the Steiner Brothers spots. There was a lot of different things that were done there, and I think it's fun that they're kind of acknowledging their predecessors.
Yeah.
Very Steiner-ish outfits to me. So I said, okay, that's a nice nod of the hat.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, because I was a little bit behind on mine, I kind of did some fast forwarding to catch up to try and get to live, so I missed the end of this, but why don't you guys take us through what happened next at the end of the match?
The American Alphas were soaking in their defeat, and then these two big behemoths just came out of nowhere and just made it worse.
With Paul Ellering at the entryway, I was very interested. I'm not sure what to make, and I can't say that I've seen these guys before, so even I was wondering, like, what the heck?
Okay,
a few months ago, WWE was talking about how they signed some team. I didn't really know who they were, but it was these guys.
Yes.
So if you want to go back and try to find those articles,
so
on the website.
I actually have one right here. The name of the team, at least when building up to this, were the Authors of Pain, and it's Sonny Dinza and Gazim Silmani are the two guys, and then Paul Ellering was in. Ellering making an appearance again. Very surprising. From what I understand, the Full Sail crowd didn't know who he was almost.
Yeah, a lot of people that's what I was about to ask. Do you think the NXT or this younger crowd is going to know who he is? Like, he's one of the greatest managers of all time. He's in the Hall of Fame. So, are they going to respond well to him? Like, they're going to have to run some packages to explain.
I mean, I think you spring it on him out of nowhere and people are like, huh? But I think if you do a package and you explain who he is, I think that's definitely that they will recognize who he is, realize who he is, and that they will appreciate it. But I think the most interesting thing to me about Ellering's return and managing these guys is that we saw his daughter wrestle less than a month ago.
You're right. I knew there was a couple of second, third generation daughters on there, and I couldn't remember all of their names.
Rachel Ellering, I believe, wrestled. I don't remember if she wrestled Alexa Bliss or Nia Jax.
It was it in Jax? I think it was Jax killed the first one, and then Alexa Bliss killed the next two.
That's right. No. Alexa Bliss wrestled Tessa Blanchard, so Tully Blanchard's daughter, and then Nia Jax, I think, wrestled Rachel Ellering. But that just it really makes me wonder if she's going to be involved in this at all.
I was just about to say, make it like a new faction or stable.
Yeah, because I mean they referenced her as Paul Ellering's daughter, so
Something there. We've got to do something. We've got to move that.
Yeah, and I think that's great. Like, I would love to see a faction that had male and female members involved. I think that would be good, and not just have, like another tag team or whatever, to have that extra element to it where he's managing his daughter and his tag team like he's going for 2 titles in the brand eventually. Once Rachel kind of gets a little more under herself, a little bit more confidence.
Yeah, like he can say, like he can put that under his belt. Like, not only have I taken the top stars, I've been taking the newer stars that's coming up that's going to be stars too. So.
Yes. Also my daughter. So we move on from there to Austin Aries versus Shinsuke Nakamura. What'd you guys think of the match?
I thought this match was Austin Aries' best showing in NXT so far. So
I certainly agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I completely enjoyed this match.
Classic.
I am in this weird sense because I thought it took them some time to kind of their flow for me. For some reason, it felt just, when they started off, I don't know if the feeling out phase didn't happen as quickly for them. It just took some time. What I must say, that Death Valley driver spot on the apron. Oh my God.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Beautiful spot. Now, and I agree. I personally did think that this wasn't Zayn Nakamura where they just kind of went balls to the wall at each other right from the beginning. This felt more to me like a New Japan Shinsuke Nakamura match. And if you've seen his matches in New Japan, a lot of them tend to start slower. Like they tend to have a kind of a slow start, and Nakamura ends up kind of eating a lot of offense for the first half of it, and then it just starts to kind of get going, and then it's out of control, and then you can't stop him. And I think that that's what they were playing for. It was a different match than the match with Sami Zayn, which they needed to do, because if they just tried to redo Nakamura and Zayn with Austin Aries, it wasn't going to work. I liked that Austin was getting a little more into the heel side of himself and kind of soaking in the jeers from the crowd.
It was like I didn't mean to cut you off, but there was like even a section in the match where there was like Austin sucks, and he went over to him and just flung his sweat at him.
Yeah. Oh no, Austin Aries is just an excellent heel, and that's how they need to use him. If they're gonna really get the most mileage out of Austin Aries, I mean, look at the guy. He looks like a prick. I mean, he just looks like an asshole. So you just need to use him that way. That's just the best way to use the guy. And having him kind of heel Nakamura a little bit was a good way to do that. And I wouldn't mind seeing them like this not being the last confrontation between these two.
They're going to have a second match.
Yeah, I don't know if I want them to rematch right away, because I don't want that to kind of be the thing in NXT where everybody's just wrestling each other. Like we have the same 4 matches for 3 specials in a row. Because I mean, this is the second time we've seen American Alpha in the Revival. This is the 3rd time we saw Joe and Balor. Like I don't want to see everything be a rehash, but I think somewhere down the line these two need to meet again. Like I said, Nakamura took a lot more offense than he did before, but then that ending sequence was great, with Austin Aries just absolutely eating it into the barricade off of that dive. And then
Yeah, that's what I was wondering in that spot, because I don't know if I looked down, but was Nakamura there and he dived and moved out the way?
He was against it. He was like leaning against the rail, and I was like, wow, that's a long distance. What's Aries going to do from here? And then he dove through, and the camera really didn't catch Nakamura getting out of the way. It just showed him.
Dummy, what did you just do?
Austin Aries has decided he's doing too well in this match, and he's attempting to kill himself.
Right. Like, he's not going to beat me, I'm going to beat myself.
But yeah, so this wasn't as good as Nakamura and Zayn, but I think that there were some really memorable spots that are going to make this match stand out. That Death Valley driver on the apron, that dive into the barricade, These two work together really well. Austin Aries is a guy that can hang with Shinsuke Nakamura and put on a top-level match, and I really feel like they just need to go full-blown heel with him to get the full potential out of Austin Aries and then get the full potential out of that match, because like I said, I think a heel Austin Aries really being, using some dirty tricks against Nakamura, I think that's even a better match than this one was, and this one was very good.
Right. One thing I also noticed in this match, but I don't know if you guys noticed before, how well Shinsuke can sell like the effects of the match. He was selling those moves very well.
Yeah, he absolutely was. There was one point where he started where he threw all those kicks in Austin Aries where it seemed like he kind of wasn't selling anymore, but he does like to sell on offense and really be very theatrical with the yelling and the hand gestures and whatnot for when he's being put in a submission hold, when he's being stretched. So I think it all balanced out. It was good. Yeah, like I said, Nakamura is just the top total package guy. We've said it again and again here. I think he's the best wrestler in the world right now. I don't know where you guys stand on that, if you would agree, disagree with that.
I'll put him in the top. I don't want to say the best, but I'll definitely put him in the top.
I've got to see more.
Okay.
I have to see more before I give him my official EM stamp of approval.
Yeah, I mean, if you're out there and you haven't seen Nakamura stuff in New Japan, the stuff I would recommend recently would be his Wrestle Kingdom 9 match with Kota Ibushi was the match of the year for that one. His Wrestle Kingdom 10 match with AJ Styles was really excellent. He had at last year's G1 Climax, he had a match with Tanahashi. He's had he had a really good match with like anybody, but those are some of the highlights of what he can do. He also, if you subscribe to New Japan World, you can see a match between him and La Sombra, Manny Andrade, or Andrade Almas. Those two battled back and forth in the summer of 2014, I want to say. They were trading the Intercontinental title back and forth, and they had a pair of matches. One was in New Japan, I think, and one was in CMLL. I know the CMLL one you can find on YouTube, but it's pretty crappy quality. But the New Japan one, they have a New Japan World, and those two did awesome. And I know that those two have wrestled on a few different NXT house shows too. So they might be that might be something that those two might get paired up with each other. And another thing with me having tickets for like Takeover Brooklyn, I'm just like don't draft him till August. Don't draft him till August. Please don't draft him till August. I don't want to get tickets to SummerSlam 2. Please don't draft him till August.
I actually don't expect major roster changes. At least a lot of call-ups from NXT. We just got a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Oh, but there are more coming. That's what I was gonna say at the end of this. Like, we can talk about who we think might go up at the end of this.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and move on, and then we'll discuss that stuff at the end just to keep things going here. Women's title match: Nia Jax versus Asuka. Best Nia Jax match so far.
Yes,
I would say really started to look like she was getting comfortable with herself and the things that she threw. Asuka, excellent as always. This was just an excellent match. I don't know how it stacks in the hierarchy of NXT women's title matches recently. Would you guys say that this was better than the Bayley match in Dallas, or no?
No, I can't co-sign that notion just because, I think sometimes it takes people just a while to really get chemistry. And some of the spots look really good, but I think that maybe Nia Jax, I don't know if it was nerves, I don't know, but some of it just felt like, maybe just a step or two behind. And Asuka's good. She is good. I thought, okay, I see her winning. I mean, midway through the match, I couldn't see her taking the loss in this one. But I'd like to see one more match out of them. I think there's still some more story to be told, and I think if they link up a little bit more, their next match, I think, could be up there.
So the thing with Nia Jax is that Nia Jax, and I've read this in different things, and I tend to agree, where some people feel that Nia Jax, it's almost like she's afraid to really lay in with what she's got because she's always going against a lot smaller people, and I don't know if she's worried she's going to hurt somebody or not.
Right.
Whereas Asuka really doesn't care about that.
Oh, she doesn't give a flying flip about what you. We saw what happened to Dana.
Yeah, it's like Asuka super doesn't care about your well-being. So I'm hoping that if she does work with Asuka, that will get her to kind of open up a little bit more and be willing to kind of lay into her shots a little bit. I mean, I know she's bigger, but I think that the crop of women they have there can certainly take it. And I like the fact that Nia is utilizing her power some more. I also think that she really showed off kind of her agility in that spot where they were scrambling for the arm bars and the triangles. She did a really good job with that. Nia's starting to really put it together. Asuka's got it. I mean, she's kind of at her peak. And I do agree. I would like to see these two face off again, but I think that this is where you start to build towards the Bayley-Asuka rematch for Brooklyn. I think that that's what they're going to probably build towards next.
Yeah, they're going to build towards that, but I can definitely see at least one more match between those two, even if it's not for the title. And like you guys were saying, Nia Jax, she's getting better. Like we said it earlier, like she has improved greatly from her match with Bayley and with London till now. And yeah, this match was like the perfect length for Nia Jax because, like you said, it was a little like she was holding back, and if it was any longer, she would have been exposed. So I think this match went a perfect length.
Earl, we're getting Earl feedback.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Correct. Okay. Yes, I totally agree with that. If it would have went any longer, things would have started to come to the light.
Yeah, I don't know.
It just showcased both of them really well. And it was just...
we're still getting feedback on you, Earl. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
No, we're hearing ourselves in your...
Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Are you hearing yourself now?
No.
No.
No,
But yeah, to wrap this up, I feel like the end of the match was different because most of the time people try to tap out Nia Jax, but that didn't work this time because I guess she got smart to that. So she had to use her power to beat Nia. And I just thought that was a nice different finish for a Nia Jax match.
Yeah, I like that wrinkle because it can't just be the guillotine choke Nia Jax all the time show. You know, like at some point she has to get smart to that and has to be able to kind of beat that. And I'm glad that they did that and she was able to counter out of it. And yeah, I do like the idea of Asuka just having to kick her into oblivion. And I think that also made Nia Jax look strong because, you know, that's the type of kick that one of them KOs Deonna Purrazzo, but four of them have to put down Nia Jax. So I think that they did a good job of that making her look strong. Yeah,
and keeping her strong, and I hope that they continue this.
Absolutely. It's just it's like Nia Jax is just such a weird. Having somebody that big and that physically imposing, it's like she either smashes somebody or she loses to the champion. Like that's the problem. It's like you can't really call her a monster if she doesn't get it done when it's the most important. So I
mean, unless they want a Finn Balor Jodis.
Yeah. Or like have her take it off Asuka at like a house show or something. That's the issue.
Well, I'm not saying exactly like that, but just kind of a build. Like she's going to keep wearing Asuka down until she finally gets it.
Maybe. I think whoever Nia Jax faces for her third title shot, she needs to win it. She needs to beat that person, and that's when you put the belt on her. Or it's possible that they move her up to the main card before then. Although I think that she's
not ready.
I don't think so either.
She needs a little more time.
Just like Dana's my girl. I'm sorry to cut y'all off, but I don't even think she's ready. But I'm a Dana and I'm a her supporter.
I don't know. I just, as far as Dana goes, that's a very controversial one. I think she is just for what she's doing, which is being Charlotte's sidekick.
Right, and I don't want her to be just a sidekick.
She is the best sidekick ever, though.
You know what? Let's move on.
She's the best lackey in women's wrestling history.
Are you finished or are you done?
She is. It's true, though.
We got to respect on her name. That's what we got to do.
Exactly.
We need some respect on that Dana Brooks.
Like I said, I really like Dana. I agree Nia Jax isn't ready though. I think that there is.
I say give her the belt by the end of the year.
Yeah, I could see that. By the end of the year, I can definitely see her with the belt. And once she starts to, she's putting it together more and more every time we see her, and that's good. That shows improvement. That shows she's moving in the right direction. There's still a lot of people who aren't very high on her, but I disagree with that. I think she's doing really well, and I think she's only going to get better.
Yeah,
You need time. You need time to fill these things out and figure out where you fit in this world.
Right.
Absolutely agree. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our main event of the evening. Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, cage match. What'd you guys think of this one?
First of all, before we even start this, MVP of the night, that's still Cage. Because that thing didn't budge a bit.
Yeah, that's true. For how it was put together, I was expecting a little bit more give.
Oh no, because I even at the end of the match you can see they had like extra support attached to the ring, so it wasn't like shaking stuff.
Yeah, that's true. They had it like strapped together and everything like that. So no, but that was good. They did a good job of getting a cage in kind of a small spot. I like the way that cage was constructed.
Oh
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked the way that it was done. Finn Balor comes out with the black and white demon, little less than normal. There's a little bit of a more subdued demon, if you will.
Crawling across a cage.
He wasn't hungry. He wasn't hungry for the title.
Nah. He ate some Chipotle before that.
So what'd you guys think of the match overall?
You want to start?
Well, let me see. This is what the fourth big meeting of these two. I guess we include the house show.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's two paper. Okay. I'm glad it's over. I will say that.
Me too.
I'm glad it's over. Their styles, I like them together. I do. And it wasn't a bad match to me, but maybe just a little part of me kind of felt like I don't think they really needed to do it again. I don't. But it was a good match. I did like it. It just didn't feel like, did we have to do this steel cage? Some of the spots, the muscle buster spot at the end, oh my God.
Yeah, looked
I was
great.
hoping, well, I thought they were going to do the coup de grace from the top of the cage, and I was like, here comes a broken ankle.
Yeah, that was the exact reason why I figured they were. Although he did it from the top of the ladder, it's not that much different.
Right,
So,
you're right.
Yeah, definitely, that's the thing, and I mentioned it before, with these Samoa Joe Finn Balor matches, I'm never really hyped going into them, but they're always really good.
Yes.
And this one was no different. This one might have been my favorite of the three. Although both of them were really good. Their Dallas one was really good. Their London one was good. There was just something. This one, the two were really going at each other hard, and it was very back and forth. There were some really great spots that Enziguri that Joe caught Finn with off the top rope when he was climbing up the cage, and both of them fell. Like, there was a few things where it's like, we don't care about our bodies, just fling and
The hip tosses into the cage. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Gee.
Yeah, Joe did a great job of just monster tossing Finn Balor around. Finn was just super quick. The spot where Finn hit him with the penalty kick as he was walking along the ropes, and then Joe crotched him as a result. Like, there was a lot of fun stuff they did. And
they were out there having fun. You can see.
And more importantly, stuff that you haven't seen in a cage match before necessarily, and that's hard to do because a cage match is a match that's been around for 50 years almost.
Right.
Right. It's tough to break ground, but I think for the NXT crowd, they really made their steel cage match different.
Yes.
So the bar is now set for NXT steel cage matches that set them apart from perhaps WWE main roster steel cage matches.
Just don't do it all the time, as long as it's special.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The problem with steel cage matches in the PG era is just that. Steel cage matches originally supposed to be like these bloodbaths, and it's just these really grueling wars between two guys or however many are locked in there, and they don't do blood right now in WWE. That's just not something they do. So I've always had the criticism of like, okay, just don't do the match that needs blood then. But if you're gonna do it, this is a good way to do it, where they they utilize the cage. They're not dragging each other's faces off the cage. They're throwing each other back first into it. And utilizing it kind of just as a barrier to repeatedly slam your opponent into and bounce off of. And those two guys did it really well. Like I said, this is a thing of I'm with you, Earl. I'm happy that they're done with this. I'm interested to see who Joe's next opponent's going to be.
Shinsuke.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I thought Bobby Roode was going to come down. I was waiting for it, and then I got World.
I think Bobby's going right to the main roster.
It wouldn't surprise me if him and Eric go right into the draft.
No, I didn't say Eric.
I think Eric too. I think Eric too.
I think they need somebody down there to help with NXT. Especially if they're going to gut the roster like they've been talking about, they need somebody down there.
Well, they're going to have Joe.
But who's Joe's going to go against?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I don't know.
Sure.
Yes, the perfect time to build them up. I don't know though. I'm kind of the mentality that that those TNA guys that came through, let them just skip right to the main roster. They're ready. They've been on television doing nationally televised wrestling for 10 years. Yeah. They're not going to take that much to get used to. And I still I love what NXT's become, but part of me does kind of miss when I first started watching it in late 2013 when it was just all the young guys and it wasn't a whole bunch of Cassius Ono was there, like Chris Hero, but that was about the extent of it, and everyone else was just kind of young talent that was just brought up through them when Big E and Bo Dallas were the champions and whatnot. I kind of miss that in a way, and it wouldn't disappoint me to see, like I said, like guys like Aries and Rude and Young just kind of jump right to the main card. We have Hideo Itami coming back, so that's somebody that you can keep around for a little bit to let him shake the ring rust off, and once he does, then you can work him into a program with the champion. You can do that, although I'm still holding out for the Hideo Itami Nakamura dream match, personally. That's one I'm absolutely dying to see. That's of the dream matches I have, that is the only one that has any possibility of happening, because my other dream match is Shinsuke Nakamura and Asuka, which won't happen. But just pause for a second and think how good that match would be, though, guys. Seriously.
No, I'm just thinking about Asuka choking Shinsuke out. That's
what I'm saying. Like, just imagine how good that match would be. Just stop for a second.
I hate the knees. I swear there would be some of the most brutal knees I've ever seen. Ever.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't even imagine it. I end up feeling like, these TNA guys, I know they're there for a purpose to help some of the younger guys. My biggest fear of them coming to the main roster is just how quickly will they get lost in the shuffle. I was looking at Austin Aries today, and I said, okay, I like his personality, I like his look, but then I thought, okay, what does he look like versus a Jack Swagger? What does he look like in the ring with the Rusev? How would they go about booking that? And it gives me such a fear that they would lose these guys. Now, I like Bobby Roode. I think he can make it. Some of the other guys, I just don't know what would happen.
Yeah. When you say something like that, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, Jesus, Evan Bourne. He kind of did it.
Yeah, he did.
But Evan Bourne can fly and do a lot of different things, and I mean, for as small as Austin Aries is, he doesn't really work like a cruiserweight. I mean, he's got the 450, he does the dive through the ropes, but beyond that, he does a lot of different he does a lot of different kind of more heavyweight style moves, and almost more of a kind of like a Dean Malenko sort of guy, I guess. A guy that's small.
Well, I think you can kind of build I could be completely wrong in saying this, so tell me if I am. I think you can build maybe an Austin Aries as a Chris Benoit type character.
I could see it, but I think if you're going to move those guys up, if you're going to move up Bobby Roode and Eric Young and Austin Aries, have them all go up together, have them all be a faction. We're kind of getting into this is the kind of the new faction age anyways with the club and everything like that. Have those guys, get each other's backs and have them fill a role. Bobby Roode's a bigger guy. He can kind of go up to the top of the card. You have Austin Aries who can hit a mid-card title, or him and Eric Young can tag, or any three of the combination can tag. That way you can kind of protect him a little bit more. And if Austin Aries gets involved in matches with bigger guys, he's got backup.
Right, I can see that working, or you can just bring back the Dirty Heels.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the Dirty Heels, and then kind of tack Eric Young onto that.
Yeah.
Or do something like that. I think that's a way that you can do that. That will prevent those guys from getting lost in the shuffle. Because I agree, if you move them all up and put them in singularly, it could
happen.
They might do great. They might not.
And it also depends on where they get placed with the other talent. Like, the brands was coming up, so if they get a good deal, and it's like maybe there's not a lot of older, more established stars on one show than the other, and they got on the other show, so that can make them bigger stars.
Speaking of people moving up, oh no, I'm sorry, go ahead, Earl.
I was gonna say, I certainly hope so. I think it's going to make Dixie proud to see her babies make it on the.
Dixie's going to be the new Raw general manager.
Okay, now if that happens, you can guarantee Vince will bury them. He'll personally double.
Well, they're all on the same show, then they're buried.
Oh my gosh, I fear for their safety if that shows up. But I hope for some very good things. I was just looking at Aries and just wondering, where does he go if he goes up? I like him so much, and I don't want him to fail, but where does he go?
Hopefully with this new Cruiserweight series, they'll bring back the Cruiserweight belt at one point. So
I think that they should do that. I think that they should establish a Cruiserweight division, and I think that they should keep that Cruiserweight division very segregated from the main roster in that, we're not going to have Kalisto taking on the Big Show. Like, it just move it to a thing where basically the Cruiserweight guys are only wrestling other Cruiserweight guys, and then you can kind of have them be as important as the heavyweight guys and have the Cruiserweight champion be as important as the heavyweight champion. He's just the champion of this division. Like you look at UFC, Conor McGregor, you look at the lighter weight guys tend to be the more popular people. Right. And the heavyweight guys, they tend to not resonate quite as well. I think that they can replicate that with WWE if they just put a little effort into it.
And I feel like they've been missing that belt ever since they got rid of it, thanks to Mr. Swoggle himself.
Well, Big Show would just flop around anyway, so it'd be believable anyway, right?
I know, but they love to do that thing of like, oh, let's take the smallest guy we have and put him in there with the biggest guy we have, and look at how different they are. But
to be honest, while we're talking about the Big Show slinging people, I thought Joe was going to actually sling Finn into the cage like Big Show did Ray back in the day.
He did it with when Big Show made his debut. He did it with Steve Austin. That's how Austin won the match. It was I think it was St. Valentine's Day Massacre '98. I want to say. That was the finish of that one, because it reminded us of that too. Like, it was like, what would happen if he threw Finn through the cage? Would he win the belt then? Which I thought would be a funny way for him to get it back. So talking about moving guys up real quick before we wrap things up here, maybe that's a reason that they took the belts off American Alpha.
I was thinking the Revival was going to go up. I was hoping.
Yeah. So, I like American Alpha's chances, to be honest with you. I
mean, they've been down there for a while, especially Jason, so I think they deserve it.
I think it could work. I guess I'd want to know where they're going after the brand split. What's the emphasis going to be on tags? But I think they should definitely come up. The Revival, they're good too. They are just some old school heels to me. I love it.
Both of them are ready. Both teams are ready.
Yeah. Well, because I thought I had this little crazy idea of like you bring Finn and the Revival up and they can be like the club SmackDown. Yeah. But I think they can mesh together like that. My original plan was bringing up Blake and Murphy and just turn their characters dark because they can be like your new Young Bucks. Yeah. But you saw what happened with that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. That was funny. Yeah, because I actually, when I did my my booking a better wrestler for the Bullet Club, Blake and Murphy were in there. It was I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. It was Finn, Rusev, Neville, Becky Lynch, Blake and Murphy. I think we're down in NXT, and I forgot there was somebody, but basically it was the idea of Finn. Like everybody's talking about when Finn comes up, and that's another thing talking about guys going up. I think we're probably all in agreement that Finn's going to be on WWE TV very soon.
Nah.
I don't like the idea of slotting him in with the club for the
No.
for the simple fact of if we're going by history, which we're relying on for the whole reasoning for Gallows and Anderson and AJ being together, they kind of abandoned Finn. Like Finn left New Japan. I mean, you could say that he deserted them, depending on what side of the what side of the argument you take. But Finn left them, and they brought in AJ as a better version of him, and AJ basically said as much in his promos that he cut when he first joined the Bullet Club. So I think I would rather like to see Finn Balor show up, and maybe he shows up and teases that he's gonna be with them, and he's like, no, screw you, I have my own people now. And then like I would like to see him lead kind of a stable of, you know, like younger talents or people who, you know, kind of keep the whole foreigner theme the Bullet Club originally had, and have him have people in. That's why when I did the fantasy booking, I did people like Rusev, like Neville, like Becky Lynch.
I like that idea, because if you even think about the people that you picked, they're like I don't want to say in the background, but they're like mid card anyway, so I'll just bring them up.
Yeah. Oh, and there was the other people I included. I included TM61. The Mighty Don't Kneel were in there. Asuka was in it as well. So there was like, I basically, when I did it, I had them that they would eventually hold all of the titles in WWE and NXT, and then that was when they would start to kind of crack apart. Basically, as you know, like Becky or Asuka's not going to want to take orders from Becky Lynch anymore and whatnot. So like, I think that they could do some really interesting stuff, and I think that if they just bring Finn up and slot him in with Gallows and Anderson and AJ, I think it's going to be a lazy out.
Yeah.
So basically, what I'm hearing is, what we're gonna get. What is that pay-per-view in July? Is that Battleground?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes. Yeah.
So what we're John Cena and Finn Balor against the club? Is that what?
God, I hope not.
See, I knew he was going to say it. I knew it was going to have John Cena in it, and I was already done.
See, Finn Balor needs to be a heel. He needs to be a heel. He's such a good bad guy. He, you know, a guy who goes around, you know, dressing himself up as a demon and various serial killers, depending on the town he's in.
Oh, no.
He needs to be a bad guy.
NXT. The demon stays in NXT.
But I'm just saying that a guy who dresses himself up like different serial killers, he should not be a good guy. Like, he needs to be a bastard, and he needs to be a bad guy. And when Finn was with the Bullet Club, he was a really good bad guy, and I want to see that Finn Balor again. I want to see Prince Devitt, you know, and I don't want to see him just be brought in. And if I want to, you know, I don't want to see him just to be brought in to be the babyface foil to the club, or to join them and then have them go with the babyface vibe again. I although it would be funny, I would kind of like, you know, saying that Sean, your webcam cut out. So just work to get that back. You know, mentioning that, you know, Finn Balor and John Cena versus the club. I would kind of like the idea of Finn Balor coming up and then buddying up to John Cena and then immediately turning on him again like AJ did too. And then they all just beat him down.
You know what? We can have that match. And then it's the club, AJ, Gallows, and Anderson. It got John Cena, Finn, and some random third person.
Yeah.
And then Finn and them win the match. And they're celebrating, and then Finn turns on Cena, and then the other person.
See, I would rather just, if you're going to do that, like, if you're going to do the whole guy turns on his partner for his opponents, you need to do it right. I think you need to do it right at the beginning of the match.
Well, no, because I think it'll kill two storylines, because we never actually seen Finn go against the club or the Bullet Club, and that kills that there.
I guess.
And then,
or you do something like John Cena's the first guy in, and the club and AJ just do, like, you know, keep them separated and keep them away from the corner the whole time. And then when John Cena finally makes it to the corner, the Finn and whoever the third guy is just turn their backs on him and step down, and then that's what triggers the beating. But that might not be a bad way to do it if they're going to do it that way. But I still... AJ and Finn in the same group, they're both alpha male personalities. Like, they're both leaders.
I don't even want to see. I want to see matches of those two. I don't want to see them together.
I agree. I agree with that. And they have such a history. They're the two leaders of the Bullet Club, the originator and the guy who replaced him. And all I can hope is that they get Kenny Omega in, and then we can have the triple threat. But
oh, that'd be amazing.
But until then, those two going at it, they have so much built-in history. Maybe you can do a thing between them and then have Gallows and Anderson be conflicted or something like that. There are a million different things you can do Finn Balor with. I think that's just what we're getting to here. I think he's guaranteed to go up. And I think they can do so many different things with him. I just hope that they do something interesting that isn't just the obvious thing.
Yeah, I just want to see something totally different, and they have the potential with this.
I'm not going to be surprised. Sometimes the most obvious is the easiest, and what does the E do sometimes?
The easiest thing. Absolutely.
World Wrestling easy.
Yep.
No, you're absolutely right. They go with they go for the lowest common denominator a lot of times because it's the easy thing to do. For Christ's sakes, the group's named the club. For fuck's sake.
Why? Hey, on Raw, what did Cena say? Did he say Bullet Club or Bullet Club?
He said Bullet Club. He name-checked the Bullet Club specifically. I mean, they can't use the Bullet Club name. It's owned by New Japan, and everybody thought, like, WWE is going to buy the copyright. No, like, that's stupid. That is, like, probably New Japan's #1 money-making logo. They're not going to sell the rights to that name. That would be like WCW selling the rights to the NWO in, like, '97. Like, no, that's not going to happen.
No. It was just real. It was a nice little tip of the hat. I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe he said it." But he's John Cena, and he can do that.
Well, I mean, AJ mentioned breaking out shovels, so I mean, at that point, all bets were off, I suppose. All right, so before we wrap this up, because we're over 11 o'clock now, last thoughts. Any other people you guys think are going to come up? Where is NXT going to go from here? We'll just get some final thoughts. Earl, we'll start with you.
I think I still believe this. I kind of mentioned this in the draft too. I think we're in good hands here. I know there's going to be a couple people that will be leaving, but I think it'll be a nice changing of the guards. You've got Rude, you've got Young, Joe's at the top. I think we can lose a couple and still have some very good NXT shows. Maybe, like you said, Paul, taking it back to the younger talent, but I think we've got good matches ahead of us, and I think there are tons of guys that are ready to break out, and they just need the chance. And when guys move up, this is your chance, make or break.
And Sean, what do you think?
Oh yeah, pretty much on the piggyback off, he said they're gonna bring a whole bunch of guys that deserve it up to the main roster, and we're about to see like the beginning of a new era. Because like even in my prediction I did a little bit before this on my channel, I said that we're going to get a video package that's going to be pretty much saying this is the passing of the new guard. You're going to show people like Seth and Sasha and all those people, and then you're going to cut to all the new people, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, you nailed it.
And then you got all these new people coming in. You got the Peyton Royces, all these new generational superstars, the people from the Performance Center finally coming in, and it's going to be like with the mixture of the established talent coming in, like you said, Bobby Roode, Eric Young, all those people. It's just going to be a new feeling that's going to look very familiar, just feel very refreshed.
Yeah, and I agree with both those statements. You know, they touted this as the end of the beginning. I think that we are going to see a lot of changes within the next couple months, especially with the brand split coming up. I'm going to be interested to see who stays and who goes. And yeah, you know, you made a really good point with the people that we haven't even seen yet. You know, you mentioned, you know, like Peyton Royce, but we also have Athena, who still needs to come in, and she is amazing. She's
Breaking Ground, the model guy, the NFL guy,
Tino Sabatelli.
Yes.
Yeah. So they have a lot of different people. There's still rumors swirling about that Kota Ibushi's gonna get signed. So there are still people that they can get. There's still people who they have right now that are getting ready and that are gonna come up. You know, we saw the debut of the Authors of Pain here. There's some more people that are getting ready to come out of the Performance Center. It's a good time for them. It's going to be a time of transition. This is going to kind of be like, this is similar to what it was when NXT Arrival happened. and
Yeah,
it was Bo Dallas and Adrian Neville, and then they kind of moved on, and it's getting to that point where we're at the end of one spot with, where we had the Wyatts and Big E and whatever, and we're moving on to the next part of it, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. Was this the best takeover ever? No, but it was very good. It was fun, and
They did what they needed to do.
yeah, and most importantly, they're building towards their future.
Yes.
So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up for us. Hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to check out the website, changeintheqs.com. That's www.changeintheqs.com. If you want to get in touch with us on Twitter, you can do so at changeintheqs. That's at changeintheqs. If you want to like us on Facebook, just search for Changing the Questions there. If you want to send us a good old-fashioned email, you can do that, changingthequestions@gmail.com. Mr. Marks, if they want to get a hold of you on Twitter, how can they do so?
You can do so at Earl Marks. Let's do it.
And Mr. Doug Gamer, how do they get a hold of you?
You can follow me at Sean the Gamer, SHAWN_DA Gamer.
And that's not just on Twitter, but on every
Everything.
form.
Everything.
MySpace,
MySpace,
Angel Fire,
Tinder,
Ask
Plenty of
Jeeves.
Fish. All of it.
We're trying to get you a date now.
I know, right?
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again soon. Take care.
Take care.